Assalamu alaikum, dear students. During the previous lecture, we have started the apoptosis and necrosis. In the previous lecture, we have studied the apoptosis. Today, we are going to study the necrosis. Necrosis is also known as accidental cell death. In the previous lecture, we have studied the apoptosis, that is programmed cell death. That is a normal process which takes place in the bodies of animals, including humans. But necrosis is not a normal process. It is accidental cell death. It is the death of cells or tissues due to diseases, including cancer. There are various diseases in which the body cells die. That is basically necrosis, including cancer. In various cancers, the cells die, and that is basically due to necrosis. Injury, whenever there is injury, so during the injury, various cells die. That is due to necrosis. Failure of blood supply, whenever blood is not properly supplied to a particular tissue or an organ, so the cells start dying because the blood carries food and oxygen to that particular tissue or organ. So whenever the blood supply is disturbed, suppose there is a plague, there is accumulation of cholesterol material or calcium material inside the blood vessel, so the blood supply to that particular tissue to which that blood vessel supply the blood, that supply will be reduced or stopped. So as a result, nutrients will be not provided to those cells. Oxygen will be not properly provided to those cells. So as a result, that will start dying. So that is due to necrosis. Toxins, various toxins, various disease-causing bacteria produce toxins, and these toxic substances, the toxins, they basically kill the cells. That is necrosis. Radiation, various high energy radiations, for example UV rays, gamma rays, whenever the cells are exposed for a long time to these high energy radiations, so these cells start dying. That is due to necrosis. Heat, whenever some part of our body is burned, so as a result various cells die. That is due to necrosis. Trauma, again whenever there is some accidental injury, so due to that injury various cells are killed, those cells die. That is due to necrosis. Similarly, lack of oxygen due to the blockage of blood flow, whenever the blood flow to the body tissues is disturbed, so those cells start dying. That is due to necrosis, because whenever the blood does not properly flow to the particular tissue, so that tissue will not properly carry out the process of respiration. So as a result, the cells of that tissue will start dying, and that is due to necrosis. As necrotic cells begin to die, they swell up and holes appear in the plasma membrane. Whenever the process of necrosis starts, so the cells will swell up and holes will appear in the plasma membrane of that particular cell. The intracellular materials will spill out. The intracellular materials means those materials which are inside the cell that will spill out, that will be released into the surrounding environment, and inflammation will occur. As we have already studied in the apoptosis, there is no inflammation and there is no release of cellular content. The internal content of the cells are not released outside in the process of apoptosis. But here in the case of necrosis, the intracellular materials means those materials which are inside the cell, they will spill out, that will be released into the surrounding environment, and whenever they are released in the surrounding environment, so they will further damage the other cells and inflammation will occur. Inflammation, we have already discussed that this is a condition in which there is pain, hotness, redness, and swelling. So, in the case of necrosis, the inflammation will occur. This is all about today's lecture. See you next time with the new lecture. This is the last topic of this chapter. So, Alhamdulillah, the chapter number 5 is over. See you next time, inshallah, with new lecture. Take care. Allah Hafiz.